sure you turn on your thing. Make sure you turn your thing on.
I didn't even have that powered on yet.
He did. Nothing. We're waiting on you.
I'm ready.
Okay. Let's all stand and go, Lord, in word of prayer. Gracious Heavenly Father, Lord God, we thank you so much for another wonderful day you've given us for a meeting. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for your gracious love and your tender mercies. Dear God, we want to thank you most of all for your Son, our Lord and Savior, who gave his life on Calvary's cross for our sins, and whose precious blood was shed on that cross, cleanse us of all our unrighteousness. Dear God, I pray you'd be with us now as we go to our meeting, that you would guide us and lead us, and everything said and done, we be praise and glory to you. These things I pray in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to remind everybody, please silence your phones and call the meeting to order. First, I'd like to have a motion for approval of the minutes for the last meeting,
I'll make that motion.
and I will second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 2-0. Is it this one or?
I think it is that one, yeah.
Okay, next on the agenda is the approval of the claims, which we reviewed online. I have a motion.
Now I'll make a motion to approve those.
I will second that motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 2-0. I need acknowledgement of the treasurer report and the clerk's report.
There is none this month.
No, I didn't
Was
see
none
it.
this month. Okay. And then we'll move into department reports. Anybody? Erica and AJ?
All right, so this month for Princeton, there was 282 runs, well, sorry, May. There was 282 runs in Princeton, South Gibson area, 72. Oakland had 70, and Owensville had 33. There was a total of 83 transfers out of Deaconess Gibson Hospital. So we've been working on a grow grant. It's with the Indiana Department of Health. They're pushing out a grant for the entire state. We're Region 8. It's for mobile integrated health or community care medicine. This grant will be 100% covered for 5 years. We just started the process. Nothing's been approved. We just started doing the budgets for it, turned it in. It probably won't be till September if they find out, or if we find out we actually get it. But it would cover a vehicle, equipment, and all that, and just kind of a breakdown of what they're wanting. They're wanting fall prevention, chronic disease help, and getting EMS to people's homes as to go check on patients, not transport them anywhere, just kind of preventing the 911 calls and the ER overloads. It's supposed to decrease 911 volume. We will be able to bill, but it's unknown what the return will be in the program, because it's also new in Indiana. There are a lot of other states that already have it and have done the grants and that are billing for it. The services will also offer education and stuff like that for the elderly community, people with children that need assistance, and things like that.
So more like a community outreach kind of thing.
Absolutely, and that's what they're really looking for. The health department is also doing it too.
Other than that, fully staffed on all the units and everything?
Yeah.
Going well? All right. Excellent.
Um,
Go after that grant.
We're gonna work with the health, or the highway department, we're gonna get all their guys CPR certified, the week of the 20th. Get and the girls in the office as well, and get Matt certified too, so get that done for them.
I think Commissioner Montgomery will volunteer to be the CPR dummy that day.
No, we won't either.
Thank you. I don't think so.
No. There you go.
Julie with the Gibson County Health Department. You turn it up.
Sorry.
So you got our numbers for May, last night.
Mhm.
Any questions? Okay, I have a few things to report on. We had a community baby shower at the library this past Saturday, and we had a great turnout. We had lots of partners participate in that as well. New moms and moms to be, got lots of great information, education, and won prizes. Okay, that's better. Okay, and then I want to do an update on ARPA funds. So Jackson Street, as you all know, the bids were received and will be talked about tonight here in just a little bit. So that project's moving forward. Our building, everyone had agreed to try to purchase the building at 421 South Main Street in Princeton. However, I had to get 2 appraisals, and I got the first appraisal, and the cost for it ended up being $2,000 to get the appraisal, and then the building appraised for way less than what they're asking for. So I talked to Stan, who is selling the building, and let him know the difference. He also was stating that it needs a new roof, which is going to be around $230,000. So I explained to him we may not be able to get the building due to the already high price of the building and then the new roof. Then I further asked him about another building, and he said he did have another building located at 116 North 8th Street here in Princeton. I looked at it, and it would work great for the health department. I then called Chuck and talked to him, let him know about it. So I scheduled another appointment, and Commissioner Chuck, our health board member, Nick Ivy, myself, and then Ron Norville, health department employee, went to look at it. After we looked at it, agreed that the building would be great for the health department, and I talked to Stan again. He scheduled an appraisal, so one is ordered, and we should have it back in July. So we'll know more to be able to go forward. Then we have our ARPA meeting tonight at 6 after this. We did implement VaxCare. It is a care delivery platform designed for us to automate and manage vaccine, insurance verification, and billing. It functions as a buy and bill system that eliminates upfront costs and administrative burdens. It allows for us to see almost everyone with insurance and people with Medicare. And we implemented this on May 20th with onboard training and everything. So, and they'll pay us for our vaccines that we already bought. So it's not going to be an out-of-pocket for us. We don't lose anything on it. So the last meeting you guys approved the camper. You surplused it. Let's see, sealed bids will be taken at the auditor's office until July 13th at 4 p.m. $14,500 is the lowest bid we will take, and you can call the health department to look at it if anybody's interested. We can show it to you. It was used for someone to stay in there and test for COVID. So, and then it's only been moved like 3 times to the fairgrounds to do activities out there. So it's not been used that much at all. We are putting out to the community addiction brochure. We did create a SOFR team, which is the Suicide Overdose Fatality Review Team. We got money from the opioid settlement. So this brochure will go into all the homes in Gibson County for anybody needing assistance or and just positive information for anyone who has the need for, that has somebody they know or they have an addiction. So we're trying to help the community with that. Diane has officially retired. As of June 3rd, we had her a little party on May 19th, and she's now out traveling all around, so, and enjoying her time. As Erica said, we've also been working on the GROW grant. It stands for Growing Rural Opportunities for Wellbeing. It is the a 5-year statewide program to transform rural healthcare access, technology, and workforce development. We've been in meetings weekly, sometimes twice a week. We did the asset mapping or the needs assessment. It helped us determine what needs our region has and who is working towards them. We turned in our letter of intent, and I know Erica did as well. Each entity applying under, because we're in a region, so each entity had to do a primary subrecipient cost worksheet for 2 years. I submitted ours for a community health worker for access to care, and this will help with fall prevention, blood pressure monitoring, chronic disease prevention. So this covers personnel, fringe benefits, travel, supplies, and then we can kind of piggyback with Erica on that. So the health department and EMS will be working together to get into rural communities to help, and we didn't want to pass that up, so we all applied for the grant.
Question.
Yeah.
So can the county get one grant, or can each?
We each get money for our people.
Okay.
So we each applied for our own. We're subrecipients
Okay.
of this. So it'll help the community big with people who can't get out or need to, falls in the home or like a big thing with elderly. So that's one of the things that we're trying to prevent and help with. So anything we can do to help that. I finished our 2025 HFI financial report and submitted our 2027 HFI budget, and I'm almost done, Mike, with our 2027 budget. Oh, and we hired a new nurse too, so she's going to be great. She starts Monday, so.
Good.
Yep. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just leave this on.
Yeah,
Okay.
please. Any other department reports? No? Okay, we're gonna move into,
I didn't know if Matt
Oh,
was
go.
gonna do a department report.
go right ahead.
Sorry, man. You've got more later, don't you? Yeah, I thought so. Okay. Good evening, Sharon Warney with the Animal Shelter. So currently, there are at the shelter 67 cats and 45 dogs. However, the good news is 28 cats are in foster and 25 dogs are in foster. And that's due to the work. Cinder's here in the audience. She does a lot of good work and has really helped out in the foster program, which, helps with the overcrowding at the shelter. And the important thing to know, well, there's lots of important things to know, but the highlight is, and I had to ask Cinder to verify this, most of the dogs that are in foster are actually in a program called Foster to Adopt, because you can't let a dog go out unless it's been fixed, and we can't get the dogs turned around fast enough, so Cinder finds people who are willing to adopt, and instead of having the dog fixed and then go to that home to get them out of the shelter, they go into a foster program, even though we know that it's very likely they're going to adopt those dogs. So that was a great new thing that she helped out on. I think the sheriff's not here tonight, but as he says, I've stolen his quote, always interviewing, always hiring. So staff continues to be an issue. This Saturday, June 20th, at the Hub here in Princeton, we're going to have what's been labeled a Kitten Palooza. Lots and lots of kittens. Special deals. And Cinder and Morgan are heading that up, and it'll be inside, so rain or shine, and of course that's best for the kittens. It doesn't hurt for the volunteers that are there to be inside either. But from 10 to 1 at the Hub, if you, as I always say, want to be everyone's favorite grandpa, come get a kitten or 2 or 3, and that'll help on getting some of them moved out of the shelter. And then the next Saturday, June 27th, is the one of 2 wellness clinics that Princeton Vet has always been helpful on for geared to seniors, people on fixed income, and veterans. For $20, you can bring your dog or cat, And you'll get all the basic shots and a quick wellness check. That includes rabies and all the basic shots, $20. That will be on June 27th at Princeton Vet. People can start calling out to the shelter now because we'll have a cap. There'll be 100 animals that we'll process, and that's just because all the staff and the vets at Princeton Clinic, they all donate their time, and which we really appreciate, and it's a good thing for the community. So we've kind of capped it, otherwise it could go on for hours. So, and we'll do another one in the fall. And if some people are confused, we have 2 clinics a year, but you only need to go to 1. So some people think they need to come back in the spring, even if they've been to the fall, and this is their yearly, the animals' yearly vaccination. And then also on June 27th, we're going to try to get enough volunteers to again go out to Rural King. They're having a farmer's market that day, and when we were there the last time, it was good for the dogs we were able to bring out and got a few animals adopted. So we're hoping to be out at Rural King again on Saturday, June 27th, while the clinic's going on over at the Princeton Vet. Since we were last here, one of our vehicles, the black vehicle, was in a crash. It was totally the other driver's fault, and the vehicle was damaged.
No one was hurt?
No one was hurt.
Okay.
Well, Teresa was the driver of our vehicle. She did go out to the hospital. Fortunately, it was just a lot of bruising, and she was on weight restrictions and things like that, but no permanent damage. So initially, we were told that the vehicle damage could be fixed, and then I think the insurance company now has said it can't be fixed. And Andy forwarded me some stuff that I forwarded to Judy that she'll forward to you as to whether you want to buy it for salvage value, then have it fixed, or take the money. And whatever you do, could you please do it quickly? Or as quickly as possible, because those vehicles are heavily used all the time. And then finally on the new building, the next thing that the public will see is we're working on getting the perimeter fencing put in around the entire, or won't be the entire site, but around the building area.
Okay.
So that'll be the next big thing. So, any questions?
I think so. Thank you,
Okay.
Sharon. Any other department reports? Okay, we're going to move into the portion of the agenda that used to be called old business, but since that offends Mr. Ballard, we're going to call it previous business. So first thing is the Jackson Street approval of the contract for that sewer
Yes,
project.
so bids were opened recently as a pretty competitive bidding round with 6 contractors submitting a bid. The low bid was Kiefer Brothers Construction out of Mount Carmel for $238,173. Again, that number's $238,173. Bill Lewis is here with 3i Engineering and has gone over everything, and it would be the recommendation of Bill and myself that contract be awarded to Kiefer Brothers for that amount mentioned, subject to ARPA approval, which will meet at 6 o'clock right after this meeting.
So that being said, I'll entertain a motion to preliminary approve this contract based on ARPA approval.
I'll make that motion.
And I will second it. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 2-0. Okay, George, your turn.
I like the previous, that's kind of nice. I
Working with
wasn't expecting that. The only thing I'm just going to be short and sweet is that the city of Princeton did grant us permission to close one block of East Emerson Street, which is in front of the demolition site going to be. I would be under new business down a little farther down, so that's really, I've got more to report, but we'll get into bid information here in just a little bit, okay? Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Okay, next on the agenda is the approval of number policies on pages 71 through 80 of the employee handbook.
Yes, so this was introduced at the last meeting. I can go over those again if you need me to, but that's policy 702 through 800. 702 is drug and alcohol use / testing. 800 is political activity. I've also got a list here of what those policies are. If anybody from the public wants to see it, you'll be preliminarily approving those policies this evening after last meeting's introduction of the same policies. So I need a motion to approve.
I'll
and
make
so
that
far.
motion.
I will second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 2-0. Next on the agenda is the introduction of number policies, page 81 through 90 of the employee handbook.
So we are to the end of the road. We've got one more policy, and that policy is 801, policy 801, whistleblower policy. I'm just introducing that policy this evening, and you will be approving it, or possibly preliminarily approving that at the next meeting.
Okay, so we don't need any action on it.
Correct.
Okay, next we have Ed Hartzberger of Peabody Coal Company about a road use agreement termination.
That's another road use termination agreement. It's for County Roads 1150 East, 850 South, and 1200 East. Two of those three roads were part of the various agreements that we approved for termination back in December, January, I forget. And for some reason, they were just over bonded. Because they're two separate agreements. You know, there were two separate uses, but for some reason, they bonded it twice. So that's what this is about. 1200, it's, you know, like 600 to 800 feet. This was the old clean truck route when they were hauling coal out of the mine.
Okay.
And I think it was in this January, July or June of 23, they quit hauling out of there. So they haven't been on it for several years. It's just now getting in our radar to get it terminated.
I assume Engineer Holden have looked at these roads, and I know Commissioner Montgomery, these are all in his area.
So almost all of this, if not all of it, has actually, some of the stuff was triple bonded.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of these roads were released years ago, some were released in December, and they keep finding more bonds they have on them. So they're trying to clean up all the paperwork they have.
So we're really not releasing anything that hasn't already been
Been released.
released, we're
Right.
just
Yeah.
cleaning up the bond issues.
And there's gonna be more of them, guys, I'm telling you, as they come up.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion to release these bonds, release these roads back to us.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, sir.
Thanks. And I'll just pick them up from Judy when you guys get them signed.
We'll sign it here, and you can get it on your way out
All right,
after a while. Okay, next, Engineer Mr. Holden, a certification of substantial completion on the I-69 and Indiana 64 project.
Yeah, so this is to certify that commissioners do agree that there's substantial completion. It's already been signed by our inspector, consultant, and Van Hoy, which was the contractor out there. They ran through a whole day where they were doing startup and everything is operable. So this is the next step we need to do before releasing everything over finishing the project and releasing everything over to Francisco, which will take over the project, or over the assets.
Entertain a motion to accept this substantial completion.
Make that motion.
I second that.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Okay, next thing we have is the TIF Perimeter Road Project, Phase 2, the United Consulting contract.
Yeah, so phase one was Tulip Tree Drive. We actually just finished doing the deep patches on it. That's gonna be the the big project of the 2.5-inch mill, 4.5-inch paving project, on down Tulip Tree that happened during shutdown at Toyota. This is the other phase of that project, doing the remainder of the roads. It's about the same size project, as Tulip Tree. That's why we split it the way we did, because getting it all done one year wasn't gonna be possible. So this is for United, which is the current, consultant that's going through all that, from bid phase all the way through to final construction. This will be what I'll be submitting for our community crossings grant, like we did Tulip Tree also. Remainder funds are being paid out of the TIF.
We need a motion to accept.
Yes.
I entertain a motion to accept phase 2 of the perimeter road project.
I'll make that motion.
I second that.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Okay, moving on to new business. We have the Highway Department building expansion bid opening.
I've got two here. The first one that I'm opening is from Caliber Construction out of Fort Branch. Bid amount is $297,000, even, $297,000. The second one is from Edge Construction. Bid amount $299,300. That's $299,300.
All bid documents are intact and in order, so I'd recommend awarding to Caliber Construction for the $297,000.
I'll make that motion to approve that bid.
$299,000.
Or the lowest bid, the lowest bid, 297.
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to award the bid to the lowest responsible bidder, which is Caliber Construction out of Fort Branch. Do I have a second?
I second it.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
That is above the amount that we had in edit to pay for that, but I can cover the rest, the remainder, what was left, out of highway funds out there, so we're good there.
Okay, next we have the biannual fuel bids. So the county, we bid fuel for highway, sheriff, ambulance, all that, twice a year. So we're gonna let Mr. Holden look at these for a few minutes, and if everything's good, he'll come back with a recommendation.
The first one that I'm opening is from Wabash Valley Service Company out of Grayville. We've got 87 octane at $3.10.9, 89 octane at $3.36.2, on-road diesel $4.10.6, and Diesel Flex Goat Off-Road $3.47.6. Synergy Partners is the second one from Mount Vernon, Indiana. $87 is, $3.33.18, $3.33.18. 59 is $3.60, 0.56, $3.60, 0.56. We've got off-road diesel premium, $3.40, 0.79, $3.40, 0.79, seems cheap. Off-road diesel premium, $4.01, 0.49, $4.01, 0.49.
You said,
That's all on road, so.
you said off-road twice. Was the second one on road?
Off-road was the 3, off-road was
41.
the 341, yeah.
Yeah.
And the on-road was the 415, basically. 15 cents.
Okay. You need a few minutes to look over that?
Just a second, we can call the numbers go over. Going by the lowest responsive and responsible bid, I recommend Wabash Valley Service. They were low bid on all fuels, which we do combined, so we were thinking we were gonna maybe have to take a recess from it to review, and all their prices were lower on all products.
I'll accept a motion to approve the fuel bid awards to Wabash.
I'll second that.
Someone's got to make the motion.
Oh, I thought
I guess I'll make that motion then.
I'll second it then.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Okay, next on the agenda, Mr. Don Lloyd, for a fallen soldiers statue.
I know nobody in here knows me except for maybe this guy back there behind me. My name is Donald Lloyd. I was born and raised in Gibson County. Several years ago, I had a freak accident and I was asked to move out of the county. So I moved across the river. I won't go into any details on that, but I am a veteran of 2 branches of service. I served 2 Navy, 21 Army. I was in the Vietnam War. And I have talked to the city about going around and asking people to donate money for this statue, which is called the Falling, I don't know if anybody knows what it is or not, but it's called the Falling Soldier statue. And the price of that, I'm not asking anybody for any money. I'm not asking the county, I'm not asking the city. What I am going to do, I'm going to go to individual people and ask for donations. The total cost of this statue is $1,473 and some cents. My goal is to raise $2,500. I have purchased one for the city of Mount Carmel. I donated the first $100 myself personally. And the statue stands about 5.5 foot tall. Judy has got some pictures of it. I don't know if she showed you guys the pictures or not. And I have got a lot of praises over it, over in Mount Carmel. And like I said, this is my hometown. But I live across the river, but I'd like to see one put in here to represent our fallen and past. So,
Isn't that the one with the cross with the
Yes, sir.
the boots on it?
It's not a cross, it's actually
Here it
a
is.
rifle.
All right,
This is a
well, yeah.
picture of it. Judy's got a colored picture of it
Yeah.
here, but this is what it looks like.
Right.
Becomes 2 separate parts, and like I said, it stands 5.5 foot tall,
5 foot tall.
and,
Yeah, I saw it.
and like I said, she got better pictures of it and everything. And
Yeah, okay.
like I said, I done talked to the city, and they're with me about going around soliciting this money so that people don't think I'm gonna be stealing money from them. And like I said, if you're a veteran, if you wanna donate, like I told everybody in Mount Carmel, I said, if you donate $100, which is what I'm gonna take out of my own pocket, there is a plaque on that everybody donates $100, their name will go on that plaque. Now, I've went to several people over there, I went to several businesses. The fire department donated $100, the Eagles donated $250 towards it. Both of the funeral homes over in Mount Carmel donated $100. And like I said, I just need your permission to have it put around the courthouse.
I tell you, we talked about it and with George Pickersgill.
Yes,
And we think that over by the where they always have the, like the Veterans Day thing up there by the gazebo with perfect place. There's nothing up there but the gazebo.
Right.
And that would be, because that's where they have all the, you know, the Labor Day and
Well,
everything.
I have no objection where you guys want to put it. I'm just gonna be the one that collects the money for it and order it. It's coming out of Syracuse, New York, and they only order 5 of them at a time. And when I started this project over in Mount Carmel, I raised a little over $2,500 within a month's time. But it took a long time because then they wasn't shipping anything, but it shipped from overseas and then it goes to New York and then New York sent it to my house. So it may be a little time span before it actually gets to my house. But like I said, everything was paid in full. I went to the trophy shop out here and got the plaque for it. I mounted the thing myself. I mounted it with epoxy, which will stand 190 mile an hour winds, and I go up there every other day and check it just to make sure it's still stable.
Yeah.
And it's still in good shape. I've got lights around it where it lights up at night, and it really looks nice. And that's all I'm asking you. Yes.
So, Mr. Lloyd, will there, so Jason brought something up, so will there need to be like a base installed to mount the thing to, or do you think the money you raise will take care of all that, or?
If not, I could maybe raise that up, because it's 2 foot by 2 foot. And where it's setting it right now in Mount Carmel is not where it's perfectly gonna be setting. So I dug a hole in the ground and put some rock there and leveled it off and staked it in there where it's not gonna go nowhere. But they're talking about moving the Veterans Park from where it's at to farther down the road.
Okay.
But
We're just concerned to somebody, you know, go up there, topple it over or something. We would
Well,
want to make sure that
so
doesn't
I've got-
happen, obviously.
I got 2 angle iron pieces on each corner of it, and it's not moved an inch. And I've got it sitting on the rock right there.
Yeah.
I mean, if we want to put it on a permanent stand, I could probably figure that price in on that.
Yeah.
And
That'd be good,
I don't, you know, unless one of the concrete companies around here wants to donate it, you know, I mean, that'd be appreciative. And,
I think all of us are, you know, all about honoring our veterans, people that are serving, have served, everything like that. So basically, you're just looking for permission from the county for us to find a home somewhere on the courthouse lawn with our other monuments, to our other military
George and
people.
I had looked, and we wanted to put it over here, but I was noticed that Judy said you have got a lot of monuments there, and she recommended me go look at the gazebo.
Yeah,
And what I thought was maybe, if this all comes through and everything, put it right there by the gazebo underneath those 2 trees on
Yeah.
the north side of the gazebo.
well, so
Good.
I guess I'll entertain a motion to allow Mr. Lloyd to install this monument when he raises the funds at a permanent location to yet be determined. How's that sound?
That sounds fine.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that one, definitely get with me afterwards, I'll definitely donate to that as well.
All right. Like I said, I'll donate the first $100. I've got it in my pocket already. And like I said, I had one lady at Mount Carmel. She had just recently lost her husband, which was on the honor guard with me, and she donated $200 herself. And like I said, it didn't take hardly no time to raise the money. It was just the fact of getting it shipped to my house.
Right.
I mean, I had people down my neck that said I stole people's money in Mount Carmel. I said, how can I steal it when I got the receipt right here where it's paid for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They threatened to throw me in jail if it wasn't up by a certain time. And I said, look, I don't want to put it there because the mayor is planning on moving the Veterans Park from where it's at. So if I'd have put it in concrete, there was a
Right.
chance they were going to bust it moving it. So right now, it's just in a permanent fix. And if they decide to move it, they'll move it. I mean, I have nothing against that, but it's in place. And if you ever get to Mount Carmel, it's located at First Street and Third Street at the Senior Citizen Building here at the Veterans Park. And then it's a real nice monument.
Hang on, we got a motion on the floor. We got a motion and a second. Everyone in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep
very
in
much.
touch with us. keep good records, list of your donors, all that stuff, and
I'm gonna go on the radio station this Saturday and announce it so people know if I come to their business,
Well,
that I'm not trying to rip them off.
you probably ought to get with Judy, our administrative assistant, in case people come in here requiring where to donate. She has information to give them.
If they bring money in, just have them make a check out to my name, and I will come in frequently and check and see if you've got anything. And that way, I will, when I get the money enough in to pay for it, I will get a certified check and send it to the people for the statue.
All right.
Sounds good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, under new business, Mr. Ballard, we're gonna review bids for the demolition of the 2 old jails that we vacated.
Well, Darvon is with us tonight, and of course, our construction management on this project. They can explain to you what the bids were and how we're gonna proceed. If you got Joe Mattingly, he's gonna explain what's happening on the construction of the bids.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I've got part one of a two-step process here to tear down the old jail. Step one is our guaranteed maximum price, number one, for the demolition efforts. We've received upwards of 10 bids for the demolition, and the total price is $691,975. So step two, I would come to you guys in July and have all of the security perimeter fencing and all of the site concrete to complete this project. But step one here is to actually tear the jail down and build it back up to subgrade. So this price of $691,975 will demolish the jail.
Yeah. I know at one time, there was discussion about building a parking lot. Does this include that? Or is this just?
This is just the demolition. So part of this gets the subgrade and everything ready for the asphalt. The next step two process would be the concrete and everything to construct the parking lot complete.
Okay.
So this would be the guaranteed maximum price for this part of the package, and then the special trades will be a supplement.
Correct, yeah, I'll come back to you guys next month. We're set to bid the remaining portion of it on July the 7th. That will complete this process. So this, like I said, step one of a two-part process to be able to get the project complete.
Get her down to grade, ready to proceed with step
Correct.
two.
Correct, yeah, and really starting this now doesn't hinder anything time-wise. It actually gets us moving with the project, and the step two process will kind of fall in line and be ready whenever we get the bids in.
And Joe, these were all of these itemized, what you've got itemized on the sheet, general, or like demolition GMP number one, that was the low bid for each of the line items.
That is correct, yes.
So is there one general contractor, or you guys are the construction manager?
We
So
are
you're the
CM.
general
Yes,
construction?
we are the general contractor, basically.
Okay. And then you'll sub everything out based on low bid?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Estimated time of completion?
I'm thinking if we start in July, we'll be done by the end of the year with everything. At the parking lot, asphalt, everything.
Parking lot, too. The parking lot as well?
Yes.
Okay.
If winter creeps up on us and the plant shut down, we'll have to go into the spring, but we'll have everything to grade, ready to go for the springtime.
Yeah.
For hot mix, sure.
Yeah.
Well, so what do we need? We need
Just
a motion.
to approve, basically what's on that page 2, here, the summary page, yeah, you're looking at it.
Okay.
Hold on. Hey, Jason, do we need to, so, like the last time we heard from the council, they didn't know, where the funds gonna come from. Do we need to make this on contingents of where they
Council's
determine
approval of funding.
the council's gonna get the money from?
Yeah, yes.
I just,
So we'll entertain a motion to approve Garmong's presentation for the demolition of the 2 old gyms down to subgrade for an amount not to exceed $691,975, contingent on discussions with the council and funding availability.
I make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is Sarah Stewart and the Animal Services Volunteer Group. Please state your name and everything.
My name is Carrie Titchener. My husband Tad and I own and operate Doggy Do Right, which is the dog boarding, training, and grooming facility in Fort Branch. We have several short statements. So I'll start with mine. Basically on September 27th, 2025, I went into Gibson County Animal Services with the hopes of being able to help with animal care and adoptions by offering volunteer time, training, and donations. The director had changed, and I had expectations of things finally moving in the right direction. My oldest son and I walked into that day was horrific. The filth, smell, chaotic, overcrowded situation was nothing that I had ever walked into before. Cats were stacked in small dog crates with barely enough room to even walk between them to care for the animals. Dogs were everywhere on the property. Some on tie-outs next to the parking lot, more tie-outs in the play yard, every outdoor and indoor kennel full with guillotine doors closed so that they could house a dog on the outside and then one on the inside. Crates were also set up for more dogs in the walkway between the kennels set up, and those were also full. Truly one of the most overwhelming, sad, heartbreaking scenes of my life. Not only were the animals set up in deplorable conditions, but the lack of organization and cleanliness of the whole facility was atrocious. Cobwebs hung down halfway down the walls in the bedroom, dust-covered boxes of who knows what kind of supplies shoved on top of cat cages, storage sheds shoved so full of everything that you couldn't even walk in them. Trash, old crates, carriers, all thrown outside. We had been given the heads up before we came that it was in bad shape, so I asked what I needed to bring to help. I specifically asked if they had cleaning supplies or if I should bring my own, and was told to bring everything. The only spray bottle with any disinfectant that I could find that day was the one that we brought. That afternoon when I went home, I knew something drastic needed to be done, and after speaking with my family, we decided to sponsor donations or adoptions for every animal on that property in an effort to get them out. A check for $7,550 was written. Many hours and days were spent, first just trying to organize and clean. This included medroom and storage shed. The medroom was such a hoarding situation that everything was taken out to tarps outside to sort, clean, and organize. Plus, the fresh air was much needed for the process. Many storage containers were purchased and labels were made to attempt to get needed supplies at least accessible. Cat cages had no name cards. Files were a complete mess with no adequate medical records. Vaccinations on most guests had not been given, and very few were spayed or neutered. The cat files were in one big stack with barely any intake notes, and several with just black cat on the description. Cage cards were purchased and put on kennels. I went through every single file, took pictures of every single animal, and updated vaccinations and medical records. I sent information out by picture to other board members who uploaded them into the new system. Also, set up a medicine board to keep track of meds needed for guests, put med boxes in place because there was also no system on where they were kept. Made boards and systems and binders to help organize everything. I cleaned out storage sheds and organized with labels. After all of this, I went as a guest to the January board meeting and made all aware that there were literally no systems in place and painted the picture of what the stand-in director walked into. Also expressed concerns with keeping the foster to adopt program open due to the fact that they were so far behind on spays and neuters that in order to move animals out, it was needed. I questioned the lack of concern with rabies vaccinations, among other things. After that meeting, the board members found out that the new shelter was not set up for solid block dividers between the dogs. Due to budget cuts, the executive board decided to go with chain link to separate instead. I expressed my concern in multiple messages and direct conversations with Brad. Unfortunately, they did not understand the drastic consequences this decision will have on the dogs in their care. I put a PowerPoint presentation together and stressed concerns in it. The presentation was presented at the board meeting. Most other board members were not aware of the change in plans. I had continued to press for a fix on the chain link decision. Through messages with Judy, there was also concern with the number of dogs currently in the shelter and the fact that the new building was only set up with 38 kennels. Judy, you wanted me to contact the contractor to go over possible options. Email to the contractor was sent. After no response for a long while, she finally reached out and sent blueprint. I was able to see layout, including floor drain options. The lack of accessible floor drains in the garage area did not give them the option of using that for overflow because they won't be able to clean them. Isolation rooms and cat room did not have sinks. I reached out to Midmark, a kennel company that makes the kennels that are solid dividers that we use in our facility, because due to the layout and the space of doggy doors, they would no longer even be able to consider the block wall dividers. Another factor was that the kennel floor area had heat and could not be compromised with installation. Midmark gave me a quote with the current design. Through email with the contractor, I was also informed that no work on the inside kennels had been done yet, and we were free to explore other options. I also met with them at the new building and brought up concerns about drains and lack of water sinks and isolation in cat rooms. After hearing back from Midmark, the quote for solid dividers versus chain link with installation included was $18,831.99. I made another PowerPoint and folders for all board members to present the information. I was allowed to only present to the executive board. A check during that meeting for $18,831.99 was presented to cover the cost of going with the better option. Unfortunately, they decided to go with chain link instead. I have sadly watched a poorly run system make terrible decisions for far too long. They are literally affecting the well-being of animals in their care. Several days of short-staffed and staff not showing up, conditions of not adequately cleaning or caring for animals, living conditions for outside dogs to suffer through all types of weather with only a dog house, water bowls with green slime, cat food bowls with mold in them. The list goes on and on. Keeping things so short-staffed that they are unable to keep up with what needs to be done, frankly keeping animals in situations that you would rescue them from. ACO officers are offered no training or adequate gear or uniforms. One sent out specifically with no paperwork at all, only a notebook. During all of this, I have fostered 3 sick kittens, 9 dogs. I've sponsored adoptions for 5 of those in addition to the original sponsorships and donated tons of time and supplies. I do believe that it has the potential to be great. The current system is failing and will continue the same problems in a new $2.7 million facility if allowed. Change is needed now. I can't keep fighting a battle with this leadership or lack thereof. I will also not keep quiet. The animals can't speak for themselves. The system has the ability to be great for Gibson County and the animals that need it. It's time to turn things in a better direction. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Tishner.
Hello. My name is Dr. Sarah Stewart Bailey. I'm a veterinarian and I have a clinic just down the road. I graduated from Princeton in 1998 and from Purdue College of Veterinary Medicine in 2005. So I've been practicing about 20 years. I'm coming to the commissioners as a taxpayer, an employer, and a community member, but also as a veterinarian. I'd like to say that I respect all members of the ME Corp. These people spend countless hours trying to do good for animals. I also respect the employees because they are, like we say, short-staffed, but they also haven't received training other than small little bits. And I feel like that's something that I can help with. I do feel, though, the situation with our animals and our animal care, the Gibson County Animal Services is in over their head. I feel bad because I hadn't been to the shelter for a while because sometimes some of the directors don't want you there to nose around. But I got called out for euthanasia, and that was in March. And I've seen a lot of things in 20 years of practicing vet med. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen. And Carrie describes it even being in the fall. So she had been working really hard, and animals were just stacked floor to ceiling. And the smell of ammonia and fecal material was so bad. And you know there has to be a million OSHA problems with that, even for the workers. But there were probably about 100 cats that I saw. And then there were about 57 dogs that day. And a lot of the dogs are stuck outside with just a dog house. There's a lot of fecal material there that day. But after we did our work, I actually pulled some animals that day. I pulled some cats. In all, I've pulled about 36 cats and taken care of them myself and gotten them adopted. I reached out to Vanderburg Humane Society, and they helped me. They've pulled about over 100 cats from Gibson County. And then I've also helped transport some dogs for adoption. So that has helped, but anytime you're in the animal care business, or especially animal control, things can get out of hand so fast. Because right now, they've told you the numbers on the cats today. Now, the thing that happens when you have a lot of animals in a shelter, especially if you're struggling, is that the longer the animals are there, especially dogs, the worse their behavior is, the worse their health is, and then you can't get them adopted. And so that has been something that has been an issue. And then what happens is it kind of spirals, and you end up calling it animal warehousing. So you're just making a warehouse full of animals. And so I know everybody's trying as hard as they can. They're putting stuff on social media, they're having adoption events, but it is one of those deals where one animal goes out and 3 more come in that same day. And so I think that we need to come up with a plan for the future so that we can get this under control. Sometimes I think that maybe the private citizens and then even ME Corp thinks that this new shelter is going to solve all their problems. One thing I noticed about the new shelter is that there's not enough cages. No new cages have been purchased. Stainless steel cages, fiberglass cages, they don't have enough to house the animals properly and clean the area. And then that's something that I found out in December and have been trying to work for. And I still will continue to work for that. Carrie expressed her concerns about the containment for the dogs, and I think that's a major concern, especially as far as disease transmission, because we as a community have to think about how healthy pets are, because it's going to go directly home. Those animals could have parasites. We've got to think about other things to protect our community members. I have designed and built my own veterinary clinic, and the cost on that is larger. The square footage is larger than the new shelter, but the cost is, even with inflation, is about $1 million. And then I figured with a $2.7 million system, we could even have robots in there, I honestly think. So I just really am not sure where the money went. Those are my main concerns. I just want to be sure that the community at large is protected from parasites being transmitted from animals, but then also that we can help animals come off the streets. And I'd like to help work with the shelter and the local government to make that happen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good early evening. I'm Tina Winters. I'm a volunteer for Sarah, and I've been out to help the Gibson County Animal Services. I'm previously from Evansville. I've been up here in Gibson County 16 years. I'm previously a K-9 EMA. I had a bloodhound, and I volunteered for their EMA. So, I moved up here 16 years ago. Back in Evansville, I was a veterinarian. I worked at a veterinarian clinic for years, and I also fostered, and I actually have animals too. So, since I've been up here, I've went the last 2 directors to Gibson County to work with them and to kind of give them ideas, because I've worked with It Takes a Village, I've worked with New Hope, VHS, and also the Evansville Animal Control in Evansville. And I got turned away. So I was really excited when we got the one that was sitting in, and we got a dog. My son got a dog, and he adopted it from them. And it was a chocolate lab. He's about 4 years old, and they took him home. They've got 2 little ones, and they were going to have to bring him back because his fecal was nothing but blood. And so I went to the shelter and said, no, he's not going to turn him in. I'll just take him because I know what's wrong. They were just petrified because they didn't want their kids stepping in it. So I took it to Sarah, and I got him all fixed up, and then my brother ended up adopting him, taking him from me, because I have 5 dogs already. Everybody just keeps dropping everything off to me. So, anyways, I'm worried about that, and I'm not bashing anybody. I love everybody there. I know everybody loves the animals. We're all in this together, and I worry about the parasites. I have actually witnessed them spraying the poop out of the kennels into the ground, and then of course your humans are walking in it. The animals are walking in it when you get them out. When people come and visit, they're stepping all in it. God knows what they're taking home to their own animals, much less the other animals are getting it and getting the parasites. So that's right there is a problem. I was there, I guess a month ago. I went in, I wanted to take pictures of everything. I was going to do a video, and I was there late, and I know she was getting ready to close or leave, and I took the videos, but when I seen one of the puppies, there was poop, diarrhea poop everywhere. And so I didn't even send the pictures so they could get posted, because I just didn't want that in the background. And I believe that should have been cleaned up before they left. I went there, I guess 2 Saturdays ago. I went and I got there about 12:30. I stayed, I think she was trying to get me out of there. I was there like till 4:15. But me and Jennifer both, we first started on the first run outside there when you first come in. And I went in and raked, and I think we raked 8 containers of old straw, poop. I had strings of the straw, old toys, pieces, and if any of those 2 dogs digested that was going to be a problem, of either a obstruction or whatever. So we worked on that. We got all that out. We cleaned all inside of their dog houses, got all this old straw out because the heat is coming. And then also I brought in Bronco spray, and I sprayed all the dogs because they're getting ate up by flies outside. Their ears are getting ate. They're just constant all over it. So we did that. Then we worked on the next one, and then we went ahead and did the south ones on the outside. We sprayed, we moved dog houses, because I know that the workers they have, they have a certain amount of time to be there, and I know it is hard to keep up with everything, because there's a lot of animals there, and I get it. And, but the deep cleaning is just unnecessary. And also, one of the workers told me that, oh yeah, just leave that poop till tomorrow on Sunday. I'm like, no. And that poop looked like it had been there since Friday morning. It was hard. And so they cannot be left with fecal matter in their kennels before they leave. And my suggestion is, you know, maybe we need to get some volunteers or something to come in like a second shift and kind of, it takes a village, does it? They come in from 4 to 8 or 9, and, you know, they're there with the dogs and cats, and they're kind of doing another round of cleaning. And then also, when I did clean out, we did clean out the kennels, I had no spray. Really, they need some rescue spray. And that's just my concern. And I love the board. I love Judy. I love her. You know, I've never met you, and I have nothing against anybody. But I believe when the very first director, she was in Vanderbilt County years ago when I was little. So that was stagnated. It stagnated, and I feel like the water is still stagnated here. And we need to stop and think of how we're doing for everything. Training the workers that are cleaning, and, you know, telling them that this is important, you know, and also watching where you put dogs. Don't put a female and a male that are not spayed or neutered together, because that's one thing you're gonna have to worry about. Those fences is they can do that. They can make babies through the fence, and I am working on, and I want to work with whoever's doing their website for Facebook. I want to do a tongue out Tuesday where we have pictures of one of the dogs or something with tongue out. We want to put a donation thing on to get everybody to even donate $2. Okay. Also, I want to do a $5 Fridays. And that's another donation thing that we need to probably work on so we can get more money rolled in. And then I am working with Chewy, because Butler County down there in Kentucky, they worked with Chewy, and Chewy sends them pallets and pallets of dog food, cat food, and litter. So I'm working with them. Once I get that settled, then I'm going to have to worry about where I'm going to store it, and I'll need a fork truck to empty the truck when it comes. So that'll be my next problem. But right now, I'm just trying to do that. And then hopefully work on maybe getting some grants. Because I would like, if they do have an app, I don't even know if they have an app. I haven't been to the new one yet. But if they ever have an outdoor playground, I would like to get those big umbrellas like VHS has outside too. Because it's just too hot. It's just, in the summer months, it's just too hot with no trees and that. And I worry about the dogs outside right now. So I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
My name's Jennifer Mayhall, and I am on the board. I came on the board in January. I was out with Carrie back in the fall when she first started, and she didn't exaggerate. It was bad, 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 bad. When I was approached to go on the board, that was my thought. It's bad out there, maybe I can help. And I am just at a loss. I feel like everything that we have suggested and tried to do has been kind of poo-pooed. I told a couple of the executive board members when they approached me in December about being on the board that I was here for the animals, and I wasn't kidding. That's my only thought, the only thing that I'm really concerned about. I feel like we need an accounting of funds has been brought up. We visited a lovely, lovely shelter in Posey County that was built with concrete block dividers for $1.2 million. And so I just feel like we need to find out what's going on. We need your help to make the new shelter a place of comfort for the animals, a place the county can be proud of. You need to listen to people that are experts in the dogs. Dr. Stewart, Carrie Titchener, they know that's their business. They know what's going on. The overcrowding has to be addressed. I am the last person in the world that wants to euthanize animals, but I will tell you, some of those animals out there would be in a happier place. They're not going to be adopted. They're not adoptable. And things have got to change. We had, one of the feral dogs had puppies. So, you know, it just is going on and on. So I really hope that you will listen and that we can have some help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Morgan, the newest board member. I'm a nurse by trade, a career that has allowed me to develop my problem-solving skills, work with people, and save lives. I owe that profession in part to animals. I worked my way through school doing many jobs, some of which included walking dogs, pet sitting in people's homes, and farm sitting, smaller family farms. All were jobs that I was able to obtain by word-of-mouth recommendations. I would like to think these recommendations came about because of my love of animals, work ethic, and the fact that I'm not the type of person who allows a problem to continue if I feel it needs to be addressed. Even if I don't know how to resolve the issue immediately, I keep working until I can solve the problem or find someone who can. This brings us to the current issue at hand, Gibson County Animal Services. I'm here because this organization has a plethora of issues that needs to be addressed, several of which have been mentioned by my previous fellow volunteers. And we're in a position where we need help to get things addressed properly and back under control. As a child, I could continue with long lists of all of the things that you guys have heard. But instead, I'd like to take a brief pivot. As a child, I was once on a fishing trip with my grandfather and his buddy. His friend looked at him and said, "Do you know why a dog is a man's best friend?" We both looked up, puzzled. He continued, "Lock your dog and your wife in the trunk of your car for an hour and see which one is happier to see you when you open the trunk." While I don't condone the method of the experiment, I remember thinking, even as a young girl, and I think we all can agree now, obviously, it's the dog. Now, you may be asking yourself, what does this have to do with the animal shelter? Let me explain. Dogs are deeply faithful creatures, bred that way by people throughout history to do work, make human lives easier in exchange for having their basic needs met: food, water, and shelter, as such. As this continued throughout history, some people believe that domesticated dogs have developed the capacity to understand human emotion and body language at that of the 2 to 3-year-old. Toddlers do not understand cause and effect and are just beginning to understand that actions have consequences, which I don't know about you, but that sounds an awful lot about my experience when I brought my dog home. What this means is that a dog can't understand that the person who tops off their water dish is the same person who let them run out. It means the person who they are so excited that took them for a walk, they can't understand is the same person who is responsible for housing them in a cage that is too small. There are organizations to protect children from conditions like these, and GCAS is the organization that is supposed to be protecting our local animals. And since I have been regularly volunteering on a bi-weekly basis, they are repeatedly falling short of the mark. During this period, as a volunteer at the shelter, I've seen a handful of people step up to fill in these gaps in staffing care time and time again. We have helped to grow our volunteer program to also help fill these gaps. And I'm standing before you today with my peers saying that something has to change, and we are calling on the commissioners and the public to help us bridge this gap.
Thank you very much.
I don't know whether they saved the best till last or whether.
Previous.
Thank you. Yeah, because I've been around a while. I'm Cynthia Blau-Ratana. My dad, Father Eugene Blau, founded the Gibson County Humane Society in 1976, and with the help of the then sitting commissioners, built the shelter that we still use today. So when I walked in there after a long time, I thought, oh, yeah, I know where everything is, because from 1976 to 1981, I worked with my father at the Humane Society. And then my career took me to Los Angeles. And of course, I had a good friend who was out there, and he said, oh, I've been volunteering, because you wanted me to, I've been volunteering at one of the animal shelters out here. And I go, oh, okay. So that took me to volunteer service to animals in Los Angeles from 1981 to 1987. We were the only volunteer organization that was allowed to work inside the 6 city animal shelters in Los Angeles, all kill shelters. So I ended up somehow being the vice president of that organization for the city of Los Angeles. We worked closely with Los Angeles City Department of Animal Regulation, and saw on a first-hand basis what happens when you don't, when people don't take care of their animals. So I came back here. I also worked with a rescue organization called the Amanda Foundation in Los Angeles from 1981 to 1984. I learned a lot of things about animals and a lot more about how to run an animal shelter. You find out the hard way with a kill shelter. We don't want to do that here. But we also don't want to, there are a lot of things that we are doing that we don't want to do. Anyway, so one thing I learned with volunteer services to animals was that an owner surrender came in the front door, and if at my desk, if I had a person who wanted that dog, I had to go get that dog, because that dog was immediately available. It didn't have a 7-day stray hold. It was just immediately available. And if I had some place that I could take that dog would live. Otherwise, that owner's surrender would go in the front door and out the back to be euthanized. And so I came back to Indiana with a real sense of urgency when it comes to animal care. You can't do it tomorrow. You can't do it. You can't wait till tomorrow. You can't wait till next week. You can't wait till next year. You have to, if you want to help the animals, you have to help them now. And I can't get rid of that sense of urgency. I worked as a volunteer in kill shelters too long. It's just ingrained in me. Anyway, came back, brought my family, brought a parakeet. We confiscated, this is crazy, but we confiscated canaries with, there was a drug deal, and so the animal shelter got all of the animals from when the people were sent to jail. And so we had a red factor canary that was confiscated. And so I can still see that he was in his cage. He rode all the way back from Los Angeles hanging on for dear life. But we take all kinds of animals in animal shelters. Anyway, long story short, I continued to work with the Gibson County Humane Society from 1987 to 1996 when my father died, and we changed hands. That's a story for another day. I hadn't been to the shelter for a long time because it was, when we made the transition, when my father died, it was very difficult. It was just a very difficult time. So I didn't go. I thought, well, it's got to be better. Everything's fine now, right? Oh, sure, okay. So after 28 years, a friend of mine texted and said they had let the director go, and so she wanted to know if I'd be interested in volunteering or getting on the board. And I said, well, how do you get your board members? And she said, well, do you want to do that? And I go, sure. So that was last November. I got on the board, met these nice folks, met all these other nice folks. Everybody's trying to do the right thing. It's not a question that anybody is being malicious about this or trying not to do what's right for the animals. But it's more a question of leadership. It's more a question of boots on the ground at the shelter itself. So I have a whole list of observations that I am not going to tell you about because everybody else has. So I'm going to
and as important as all this is, it's more important what we're gonna do about it than it is what's already happened, because what's already happened's already happened. That's kind of that for that. I came in as a volunteer. You've heard from all these other ladies, we're all volunteers. Nobody gets paid a dime for doing this. I'm 76 years old, so I should be retired, but I'm still standing, so what's the point, you know, just sitting around? So I went out, I became a board member. I ended up being asked to be foster coordinator. And then I got my friend on the board and said, I think you need to be volunteer coordinator. So we got all of that going, and per request, I got with the Fort Branch Veterinary Hospital and got them back on board. The Animal Services hadn't been doing very much business with Fort Branch, and so now we have all 3 vets in the county fully involved in what we're trying to do. Anyway, I ended up putting a lot of animals into the computer, all kinds of things. Okay, so I'm not going to go into all that either. What I discovered through all of this was that some of us volunteers are doing all the heavy lifting out at the shelter, figuratively and literally. I mean, I can't lift as much as Morgan can, but I mean, she can pick up an 80-pound dog, which she's had to do. But we shouldn't, it's like it was in LA. You should have trained, smart, dedicated staff with a good work ethic, with a good, strong leadership at the shelter to say, you do this, you do this, you do this, I will help you do all of this. I'm not going to be a boss, I'm going to work with you, but we have to get this all done. So you have all of that, those people who are eager to be there, who come in on time and don't leave early like they do now. They come in late, they leave early, they sit down and are on their phones half the time. They don't pay attention to the interim director. It's just, and she's trying, but the job is just, I mean, it's making her physically ill. So we need to establish, I think, a good working relationship between the people who actually are paid to work there and a volunteer organization like we had in LA. So we have to get the shelter organized. We have to have effective leadership. The days and the hours that the shelter's open don't even match what the community needs. The employees aren't paid enough. There's no communication. The right hand literally doesn't know what the left hand's doing. Shelter operation, the animals are suffering because of it. The animals have just not ever been really well cared for years. And that's not any one person's fault. It's just the way it is. It's just the kind of the way it's evolved. So this is, if I may, my last page. What I would like to see change, just some ideas I have. I'd like for the shelter to be open to the public on a split schedule, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., and then closed for deep cleaning, vet runs, anything else that needs to be handled, maybe an employee meeting, and then open again 4 to 7, because we miss so many opportunities because we close at 4 o'clock and people get off work at 5. Right. And open Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday that way, and maybe only open in the evening on Wednesday to make up for something, I don't know. But we have to be there at least 6 days a week. This business of being closed Sunday and Monday, there's nobody with those animals for most of that time. I would like to see employees paid $14 an hour for a 60-day probationary period, followed by a raise in pay if they do everything and they're still there after 60 days, to $15 an hour. I would like to see the shelter director and 2 ACOs be county employees. I'd like to see the shelter day-to-day operation
run by volunteers who have the knowledge and work ethic to get the job done. Sure, we have employees, but let us find more people like us who are crazy enough to want to be out there all the time. I knew I shouldn't have responded to that text message. Anyway, but that's my downfall, because I love texting. Oh, I love texting. I don't like to talk on the phone, but I love to text. Anyway, we have to make sure that the resident animals are properly cared for. Exercise, socialization, training, monitoring to keep all vaccinations and medications current. There have to be protocols and procedures, and we have to follow them. We have to have intake protocols and all kinds of medication protocols and just follow them. And we have to keep working to find foster homes and permanent homes. Anyway, leadership, organization, and communication. My father was in communications and public relations for most of his career. And man, you gotta communicate with people. You can't assume that somebody knows something, even if that person's in the same room with you. You can't assume that people aren't mind readers. So, 5 of us have formed a little group. I like to call us Gibson County Volunteer Services to Animals. We even may get t-shirts. And we may even have those t-shirts for sale for a donation to the animal shelter. Anyway, our mission as Gibson County Volunteer Services to Animals, and this is, I'm not kidding, this is a real thing. We've done this. Our mission is to ensure proper care for shelter animals, as well as the welfare and safety of all the animals in our county. We will recruit other volunteers as well and raise funds for staff training and the enrichment and medical needs of homeless animals and pets. And we intend to offer, if allowed, oversight to shelter management as well as daily shelter operations. Because these ladies, and I will say even I know what I'm doing. We know what we're doing. We've been at this long enough to know what we're doing. I probably can't get through this. I mean, I probably shouldn't even try. But anyway, my father's cemetery monument has etched in it. This, if you want to know somebody who is in favor of all things animals, be kind to the animals, the wild ones and the tame ones, the sick ones and the lame ones. So I want to be kind to the animals, really kind to the animals on a daily basis. Not only to honor my father, but because it's the right thing to do. And I hope you agree with me. And let us, as Gibson County Volunteer Services to Animals, take our place beside all these other fine folks and make it better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Want to thank everybody that came to speak tonight. Obviously, all of you are very deep animal lovers and want the best for the animals in the shelter, hopefully for the brief stay they're there, because the goal is to get them all homes, where they can be loved and become part of a family. The commissioners have been advised of most of these concerns. We have met with Mrs. Tishner. We have met with Dr. Stewart. We have also had meetings with the board members of Nelly Corporation. We are looking at a potential cooperative agreement between the two, where possibly the county takes a little more involvement and control, potentially, as the last young lady spoke, having a few of the employees actually be county employees so that they can have a more livable salary with benefits and stuff like that, and work in conjunction with the volunteer staff, implement training programs, procedures, and stuff like that. So it is a work in progress. We are aware, like I said, we've had several meetings with Nelly Corp. We will have more. And, we are aware of the problem, and we are looking for a solution that works for everybody with, obviously, the well-being of the animals in mind. So I appreciate all your time.
Hey, I think, Jason, can you explain this relationship that we have? Because when you look, you see Gibson County on their vehicles. I mean, can you explain this relationship that we have with the Animal Service currently?
I could do that. So basically, the current relationship the county has with the Gibson County Animal Services, we provide the land in the existing building that they're using. We provide them with vehicles for their employees, which unfortunately one of them got smushed. So we got to try and find a new one. And we provide them with some of their funding, which they then supplement through donations, fundraisers, various things that they can do, adoption fees and all. So right now the county really has very little, if any, to do with the operation portion of the animal services. And that is something that we're looking into changing a little bit, having a little more input, a little more ownership into it. Like I said, to try and make it better for all parties involved. So.
Yep.
Okay, we've got two more things on the agenda. AJ, you've got an ambulance for sale cheap?
We've got two that we want to have declared as surplus so that we can get them put up for auction. And those are the information on both of them. You got that on your desk as well.
Okay, so we have two out-of-service ambulances here that the ambulance service wants to declare as surplus. A 2012 Ford E350 and a 2016 Ford E350. So I'd entertain a motion to declare those as surplus.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
All right, thank you.
AJ. And Michael, do we have any medical leaves?
And three of them.
Yeah, we have three.
You signed three.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll need a motion to approve the medical leaves.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second
medical
it.
leaves.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
At this point, we will open the meeting for public comment. If anybody would like to make a statement or has anything to say to the commissioners or the public? No one? Anything else? Anybody have anything? Yes, sir.
My name is Sam Weiss. I'm a Fort Branch citizen, taxpayer. A lot of you have seen me at the TIF meetings, the RDC meetings. I'd seen in the paper something about a possible road extension around Toyota, possibly County Road 100 initiative. I think I even saw potentially for a 4-lane road. By my estimation, that's like a whopping 1 mile from Highway 41. That also probably needs upgrades. Just curious, has any initiative or has any road project been done? I live very close to there. Being in that area, I've come to really appreciate living around farm ground and know that that is our heritage. Whether or not, everybody appreciates that or not, that's our heritage as this county. And I see these road projects going on, particularly in DuBois County with the, what do they call it, the Mid-States Corridor, and I hate seeing that. The one thing about land, they're not making any more of it. So to take farm ground potentially and put a 4-lane road on it really just eats me up. The only other thing I'll say too is we're looking at potentially trying to get ourselves out of our current situation and rebuild a new house on the existing location. And as somebody who was born and raised in this county, wants to continue to invest in the county really for myself, it's hard to do that whenever I don't know if there's going to be a road right across the road effectively from me, or God forbid even a clover leaf that would make investing hundreds of thousands of dollars in today's economy in a new home completely pointless. So I was wondering if there's anything that's been done there If there's anything that you can say about that.
The short answer is no. The longer answer is that there has been discussion in the past and currently, because of all of the citizen concern, of all of the traffic on the county roads in and around Toyota, potentially making extending County Road 100 to Highway 168 to try and get them off of our county roads and onto state and federal highways sooner, to try and alleviate that. Very infant stages. Will it ever happen? I can't say yes, I can't say no. I don't know. I will say it will probably be looked into. And that's basically all I can tell you for now.
Okay. Will the county ever entertain eminent domain and taking that property?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
Well, they won't as long as I'm a commissioner, because I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
It's your property. I'm not gonna take it away from you.
But I appreciate that, sir. Hope everybody else shares your concerns. My last parting comment will be, just for the record, not all of us would support that. Unfortunately, I see the cars come down 175, especially overnight. I see the headlights. I hate seeing it. I don't think that's the right solution. I think that it's really hard for me to get out of my driveway onto 168 as it is, let alone bringing on, potentially even more traffic through there.
It's real hard for her to get out of her driveway too.
I had to wait 5 minutes to get out.
Yeah, I bet.
Hey,
I understand that. Like I said, I know it stays.
I don't know
one
what the
way.
win-win is, build an
Right.
elevated roadway, something, make them
Yeah.
park at I-69 and bus them in. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
we're currently looking at solutions, listening to citizens, complain about speed and traffic volumes and all that. So, we don't have a crystal ball.
No, I understand that. I just want to be here saying we're not all in favor of that project. I would rather see investments in 41 than that one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any comments or anything? And I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now, are we gonna have an ARPA meeting?